day to you, I'm Ryan, and I've always been a fan of retro gaming on the go, and I love the ability to play a handheld console literally anywhere you like, whether it's lounging in bed or taking it with you on a flight to parts unknown. Official handhelds are great, but they can be pretty expensive, making the prospect of dropping them a real worry. And unofficial handhelds don't really scratch the itch for me as a collector. This is where the Hyper Mega Tech line of handhelds called the Super Pocket comes in. They are inexpensive, relatively durable consoles that come in a variety of designs with a different lineup of officially licensed built-in games. Today, we're going to take a look at some Super Pocket consoles with a brief unboxing and a review of how it performs as a portable gaming device and collector's item. The Hyper Mega Tech Super Pocket was originally released in 2023 as a cheaper alternative to the Evercade home consoles and handhelds, and although not officially branded as an Evercade device, it basically is released by the same company and has full compatibility with Evercade cartridges. The first two released were the Capcom and Taito consoles, with Neo Geo, Atari, Technos and Data East consoles joining the lineup. A seventh Rareware Super Pocket is also on the way, releasing in late June 2026. These handhelds all have a different library of built-in games and a unique design that looks great in a collection or on a shelf. Although I do only have two right now. The Super Pocket comes in a stylish but slightly flimsy box that tears quite easily if not careful, and inside you'll find the console all bundled up in a nice protective inner box along with a USB-C to USB-A charging cable and a fold-out quick start guide which has all the instructions for the Super Pocket and a little advert poster for the Evercade cartridges on the other side. The Super Pocket itself is an adorably small console, about the same size as a Game Boy Color if a little lighter in the hand. It comes with a nice feeling D-pad along with 6 buttons and a menu control on the front and 4 shoulder buttons on the back. On the bottom of the console is the power slider, charging port and standard 3.5 headphone jack. You'll also find the volume controls and the cartridge slot that comes with a nice protector that slots in like a normal cartridge. The console feels great in the hand while being held like a Game Boy, though the grip to use the shoulder buttons can feel a little awkward, and for games that use the shoulder buttons can make things quite uncomfortable during long play sessions. Booting up the console, you're greeted with a cheerful logo followed by an upbeat looping background track that accompanies the built-in game selection and menus. The main screen is the built-in scrolling game selection, and you can access the cartridge mode and settings menu by pressing the middle button. The settings are a little sparse, but you can choose different aspect ratios and shaders. Some consoles, like the Capcom Super Pocket, also include a simple difficulty option. You can access the save and load options as well as view controls for each game by pressing the menu button while playing. When you first get your Super Pocket and boot it up, you may need to download a firmware update. This is done quite easily by connecting it to a PC and downloading the updater from the official Hyper Mega Tech website. The Super Pocket has a battery life of around 4 hours and while pretty speedy to charge up, doesn't come with a plug, so you'll need to acquire one from somewhere yourself. Playing the built-in games is quick and easy, with the visuals being crisp and clear for pretty much every built-in game. The audio does sound a little crunchy, but is otherwise great, and if you use headphones you won't really notice anything. The built-in game selections are very nice, with some standout titles and a variety of genres, making this a great little portable gaming system even if you don't want to buy any cartridges. Speaking of cartridges, when you're ready just pop in your chosen cartridge, select Evercade from the main menu after pressing the middle button, and the cartridge game selection will appear. 2D games play beautifully on the system, and I didn't notice any major issues that weren't there in the original games, but Evercade does have a growing library of 3D and FPS titles, so how do those perform? Tomb Raider runs pretty well in both cutscenes and gameplay, and the loading screens don't take too long, while Duke Nukem 3D does experience a fair bit of slowdown. For 3D titles, you really need to use the shoulder buttons, and this is where the awkward grip comes in. Even after playing for about 10 minutes with the shoulder buttons, my hands did start to ache a little, though if your hands are smaller than mine, it may be comfortable enough for long play sessions. The Capcom Super Pocket has an awesome lineup of 12 games, with pretty much all of them being arcade originals or versions, except for Mega Man, which is the classic NES version. My personal favourites on the system are 1943, one of Capcom's great old shmup titles, Captain Commando, a classic beat-em-up with multiple characters, and Ghouls and Ghosts, an incredibly difficult but rewarding action platformer. The Neo Geo Super Pocket's game list is also fantastic, with 14 of Neo Geo's best titles. The standouts for me here are Sengoku 3, a stunning beat-em-up with awesome visuals, Blazing Star, an action-packed shmup with great soundtracks, and of course, Metal Slug X, a high-speed action platformer that's a feast for the eyes thanks to its stylized graphics. It might be worth mentioning that while the Neo Geo Super Pocket is fantastic, Evercade are planning Neo Geo cartridge support until 2027, so there's a chance that these titles could appear on a regular cartridge as well. While I only currently own the Capcom Super Pocket and Neo Geo Super Pocket, the lineup of the others are also pretty fantastic. So, what are some cons of the Super Pocket? For me, there are very little issues with the games built into both the Capcom and Neo Geo Super Pockets, with the main problems coming from 3D cartridge games. I find that the screen is just a little bit too small for games like Tomb Raider, and the hardware does struggle a little bit with games like Duke Nukem 3D. The number one issue with this console for me though, is the shoulder buttons. It's probably because my hands are a bit too big for the console, but I just have a very awkward time holding the console in a comfortable position when using the shoulder buttons, so for long playthroughs on games that use those buttons, it gets pretty uncomfy fast. But personally, the portability, budget and built-in library on the consoles more than makes up for those issues. It's easy for me to just not play the games that the console struggles with due to the small screen, processing power or having to use the shoulder buttons. To me, the Super Pockets are an incredible little device that are not only fun to collect because of the unique libraries and designs, but also because they're cheap enough that you can take them out and about, stash them in a pocket quite easily, and not worry about having to replace an expensive console if things go wrong. I've taken my Super Pocket on my recent trip to Japan and it survived the journey quite well, with the ability to drop in and out of built-in arcade games on the fly when time's short, or play something a bit longer on cartridge while winding down. It's sure to find a use for you no matter the situation. It's also a great way of getting into the Evercade ecosystem, with the ability to start collecting with just a Super Pocket and its built-in games, slowly adding cartridges to your collection before eventually getting some of the pricier Evercade offerings like the Evercade VSR home console or the upcoming premium Evercade Nexus handheld. What do you guys think about these Super Pockets, and which one of the 7 would you be interested in the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and take it easy.